Two huge logistics warehouses are burning near Moscow at once. Ukrainian drones hit Wildberries in Kaledino, near Moscow. This is a logistics hub that the Russians were using for dual purposes. The warehouse there is the largest in the network, with an area of about 230,000 square meters. Judging by the videos from eyewitnesses, the entire hub has been engulfed in flames. The strike was confirmed by the Ukrainian defense company Firepoint, which reported that the warehouse was attacked by their FP1 drones.
I truly believed and desperately hoped right up until the very last moment that this tragedy wouldn't actually happen. I kept praying that at least some part of the warehouse would remain standing and intact. But unfortunately, the reality is that Kaledino is completely gone now.
Already after the large-scale fire engulfed the warehouse in Kaledino, it became known that another sizable logistics center in the Moscow region, in Domodedovo, was also burning. Ultimately, two huge pillars of thick black smoke had formed on the morning panorama of the Muscovites. Mayor Sobyanin stated that over 200 drones were allegedly intercepted over the Moscow region alone during the night. And in total, over Russia and occupied Ukrainian territories, they claim to have shot down more than 820 drones overnight.
Look, just don't be jealous. Ooh, it's burning so well. When I wonder, will this endless war finally come to an end? It's all so overwhelming. Look over there. Something is burning, and the smoke is just rising higher and higher into the sky.
Until recently, there was no alternative to their weapons on the battlefield. They were called the gods of war. But over the last few years, as noted by the gunners of the self-propelled artillery division Steel Pack of the 118th Brigade, enemy FPVs, which have only increased in number, have begun actively hunting artillery. So the artillerymen were forced to change their specialty and take up the UAV control consoles themselves. Nowadays, the warriors of the pack skillfully destroy Russians and their fortifications using kamikaze drones instead of shells. And for more effective work, they need as many of these drones as possible, for which the soldiers have announced a fundraiser. Andriy Poktiv saw how the former gunners spend their leisure time between combat missions honing their operator skills.
So here is the primary one. Here it's up to everyone's imagination. Some go over the top, some want it harder, some go underneath, and that's how we exit through the tunnel. This is the final ring, and you have to land on this ring.
The Chief Sergeant of the Artillery Division Battery Steel Pack, call-sign Barrow, is pleased with the difficulty of the obstacle course, almost impenetrable thickets, and about a dozen rings that the drone must be flown through.
In combat, we really see the results after such training, what can be done and what the guys are doing.
These recordings show what former artillerymen of the 118th Brigade, who have become drone operators, are doing to the enemy.
Look, you're about to see the entrance. We've already chipped away at it a little bit. That's it. That's where you're aiming for. That's it. Perfect. Oh, nice. It's right here on the road that they are getting their payback.
I've been operating with drones since March of this year.
We met the 29-year-old Kherson native with the call sign Artist last April at a Paladin howitzer position. Back then, he was a gun commander. And he says the war is completely different now, and he and his brothers in arms were forced to change their military specialty.
The war has reached a point where we have gone from being gods of war to, so to speak, well, no longer predators, but prey, because these little drones have caused a lot of trouble. So we had to change along with the war. We switched to FPVs, and now we can compete on equal terms.
The work is effective. You can see everything on the screen.
24-year-old native of Cherkasy with the call sign Van Dam, a former gunner, has only recently started operating drones. Such training sessions, say the guys from the Steel Pack of the 118th Brigade, are held every time after combat missions. Because in this sector, Van Dam admits our soldiers are being countered by skilled enemy drone operators.
To this sector, it's very noticeable that they've redeployed good units. The last time they were working on us, it was very noticeable. We are adding things, discovering something new. Other units are giving us tips.
A drone operator with the call sign Fanta takes the controls. We met Fanta last summer when the guy was undergoing basic military training in another brigade. As he told us back then, his mother is Ukrainian and his father is from Senegal.
I consider myself a 100% Ukrainian. I grew up here. I was born here.
That's why the dark-skinned guy went AWOL and decided to return to the 118th instead.
I like destroying the occupiers first and foremost. Well, that's why I came, and, well, people let me do my job, and that also motivates me well.
Currently, for the drone operators of the Steel Pack to work more effectively, the soldiers of the 118th Brigade need strike UAVs, for which they have announced a fundraiser and are asking those who care to contribute. Andriy Poktiv, Artem Jenkov, Vikna Program, STB, United News. At night, Russian troops attacked Kyiv with ballistic missiles. Currently, there are reports of 3 people injured. Fires broke out in 2 districts of Kyiv, Obolonskyi and Holosiivskyi. In the Obolonskyi district, fire engulfed the area of the book market near the Pochena metro station. 2 people were injured there, the state emergency service reported.
It was burning over there opposite. It didn't burn here for us. Everything was just blown off by the shockwave. This is the 3rd time, already the 3rd time in the last month and a half or 2 months. In previous times it hit where the antiques and all those rows are, but now it's right there where the book market is. We'll be working, if yes. Well, this is all by our own efforts because the market doesn't compensate for anything. We will be doing everything ourselves.
Also, due to the blast wave at another location in the same district, there was minor damage to a building without a fire, and at another address there was a hit on a non-residential premise. Another non-residential building was on fire in the Holosiivskyi district. Rescuers have extinguished all fires in both districts of the capital. Currently, the dismantling of structures and prevention of reignition is underway. And in the morning, the enemy again terrorized the Kyiv region with jet drones. As a result of this attack, 3 people were injured, the regional military administration reports. All of them are residents of the Brovary district. Medics provided assistance to 2 victims on the spot, and the 3rd was taken to the hospital with shrapnel wounds. As a result of the attack, 4 private houses were damaged. Also, railway tracks in the Kyiv region were damaged by Russian strikes. According to the chairman of the board of Ukrzaliznytsia, Alexander Pertsovsky, specialists urgently repaired the damage from the strikes between air raid alerts and restored traffic. At night, the enemy also launched strikes on Kryvyi Rih in the Dnipropetrovsk region. 2 people died and 14 were injured. Industrial enterprises were damaged. 11 of the injured were hospitalized. 1 of them is in critical condition and 10 are in moderate condition. There is another victim in the Nikopol district. There, the district center, as well as the Marhanets, Mayrova, Pokrovsky, and Chervonorohorivka communities were under attack. Infrastructure, an enterprise, an apartment building, and a private home were damaged. At night, according to the Air Force, the main directions of the enemy strike were the Kyiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Poltava regions. Enemy forces used Onyx anti-ship missiles, Iskander-M ballistic missiles, S-400s, guided air-launched missiles, as well as over 100 attack drones. Air Defense Forces managed to neutralize 3 guided air-launched missiles and 85 enemy UAVs. At the same time, hits were recorded at 13 locations. Debris fell in 3 more areas. 2 people died and 1 was injured as a result of enemy attacks on the Zaporizhzhia district. At dawn, a Russian guided aerial bomb struck the village of Viktorivka. A 66-year-old man and a 64-year-old woman died. A private house was destroyed and another home was damaged by an aerial bomb in Mikhailivsk. A local resident was wounded. Then the day before in the region, Russian occupiers killed a combine harvester operator who was working in a field with drones. Another man was wounded. The strike destroyed a combine harvester, a car, and wheat. The Russians also struck cars in the village of Ukrainka with an FPV drone. A driver whose car was driving along one of the village streets was wounded. 2 more people were injured in a car near a railway crossing. Forced evacuation of families with children is ongoing in the Stary Saltiv community in the Kharkiv region. This is the Vovchansk direction of the front. Due to intense shelling and the expansion of the combat zone, officials and the military are urging people to leave in a timely manner, as for about a month now, they have been unable to retrieve the bodies of 5 people who died in their own home from one of the villages in the Vovchansk district due to the risk of being targeted by fiber-optic drones which have recently become active in this direction. Maria Malevska's report follows.
As of now, the estimated number of the civilian population is about 600 people. It is impossible to count because it is all happening dynamically. People are leaving, people are being evacuated, some are even returning there. Good morning.
Drone forces?
Like, for example, this family with 2 small children. They were already taken out of here in February, but the mother brought the boys to the frontline village, left them here with their father and grandmother, and left herself. So the officers of the CIMIC, the Civil Military Cooperation of the 57th Brigade, had to evacuate the little ones again. There is a QR code on the screen now. This is a fundraiser for the repair of the CIMIC unit's vehicles. We are in the north of the Kharkiv region, or more precisely in the northeast of the region. This is the village of Kotimlia. From here, it is about 36 kilometers to Vovchansk, which the Russians have already wiped off the face of the earth, and about 40 kilometers to the border with the Russian Federation.
The Russians have intensified their shelling with fiber optics here already. It has started hitting more often. It's difficult to drive, even just to move around. In particular, 3 cars were destroyed recently.
Before the invasion, 1,350 people lived in this village on the banks of the Siversky Donets. In 2022, Kotimlia fell under occupation. This farm lost quite a lot of livestock back then, and they had just started to get back on their feet.
I still have no idea, well, what to do with them. Now an evacuation is about to be announced. Where to? Well, for that, there needs to be some place, I don't know, where to move them. I don't even know what to do with this. Newborn heifers.
Miss Oksana shows the week-old calves and says that she herself left the neighboring village about a month ago. It's deeper towards the border, and she says the shelling there is already unbearable. She lives in Kotimlia now.
Basically, this is the herd that survived the occupation. Even the young ones that remained, all of them were bred and driven here.
Currently, there are about 300 cows on the farm. They make these craft cheeses themselves, mozzarella with prosciutto, solguni with tomatoes, ricotta.
There is with ajika, we also had cuttlefish with basil, with peppercorns.
Since the community started being hit more actively by drones, a mandatory evacuation was announced here in Optovolokno, and a forced one for families with children. However, according to the military, 58 children still remain in the village.
Yes, my granddaughter is leaving right now with her mom. They are leaving by duck. Their dad was killed. There is no dad.
Ms. Antonina buried her son at the end of June, who died at the front. Now she is seeing off her 13-year-old granddaughter to Kharkiv.
They are leaving right now. I am seeing them off. I'm taking them to the bus.
So your granddaughter is leaving for good now?
And my grandson will come here soon with my daughter-in-law too. They went to see their mom. She went.
And do you plan to leave?
Oh no, I'm not going anywhere.
Why?
My son is buried here. I won't go anywhere away from my son. Absolutely nowhere.
They are walking past the damaged Kotimlia Lyceum. Antonina's children and grandchildren used to go here. After the missile strike, the institution looks like this. And this is a grocery store in the center of the village that burned down completely. Ms. Nadia is selling goods nearby.
Well, if the shelling gets stronger and we feel that the danger is close, then we will leave. But otherwise, we aren't leaving anywhere for now.
You don't want to abandon what's yours?
Well, first of all, we don't want to abandon what's ours. And secondly, where is it better and where are we expected?
Are you planning to leave or not?
No, I don't think so. Not for now.
Why not?
Then where would we go?
But the military is urging people not to delay. A civil military cooperation officer talks about a nearby village from where it will be extremely difficult to help with evacuation later.
In a settlement not far from Kotimlia, where a mandatory evacuation has also been announced, there are currently 5 bodies of deceased civilians that we cannot yet retrieve due to the security situation.
So, are the bodies under the rubble and...
No, the bodies are not under the rubble.
Just not...
The bodies are in a house, yes. It's impossible to get in. Without risk, let's put it that way.
What's beeping?
A beep.
Let's take a look. You can support this unit by scanning the QR code currently on the screen. This is a fundraiser for the repair of their vehicles. Maria Malevska, Alexander Brynza, Vikna, STB, Jedini Novini.